Hi there everyone, this is sort of an interesting video. I hope it doesn't sound too controversial or anything, but it's just something I wanted to talk about. Am I pro-life or pro-choice? And as coming from a man, I thought this would be quite an interesting topic, because obviously, a lot of people say for the pro sort of choice movement, women should have the choice, their body, their choice, and they should have the choice to decide what happens, and I fully respect that. As a man, I can fully respect a woman's choice. If she's pregnant or whatever and she wants to, she's not ready, perhaps she's too young, perhaps, she's got herself into a situation that's happened, I can fully understand, especially, if it's happened in the most unfortunate way, I understand that. For me personally, my view on it is, pro-life. A lot of people say, baby's right to life and everything. At the end of the day, baby's going inside them, what about the baby's choice? So, for me personally, it's an interesting one. I'm pro-life, which is interesting because I'm actually, I don't know if it relates really, but because obviously I'm vegan, and veganism is about, morals, I suppose, and about, how you think about animals and whether animals should have, animals should be killed for food and stuff. And for me, in a way, I feel the same way about, this sort of abortion. I feel like I'm pro-life because I feel like the baby should have the right to live. I almost feel it akin to, I shouldn't really say the word murder, but that's what I feel it akin to. I think if you have an abortion, generally speaking, it's akin to that, and I can feel the same way about animals and stuff. And I'm as a vegan, that's why I feel I'm pro-life. I feel like the baby should have the right to live, because it's not the baby's fault what's happened to the mother. I'm not saying it's the mother's fault, but in a strange way I am. Like I said, I'm not saying in a sense that, oh God, especially if it's happened in the most unfortunate way, I'm not saying it's her fault that happened to her. But in the sense of the baby wanting to live and the baby not having any, the baby's got nothing to do with what happened to the mother. The baby, the baby doesn't, the baby's just growing inside the woman. It doesn't have any, it's just there, isn't it? The baby doesn't have, it's not exactly the baby's fault what's happened. So I'm pro-life. I feel like abortion, it's essentially murder, I feel, and actually this is my opinion. Many people are pro-life, so it's not really that controversial. It's about 50-50, I suppose. But this is my opinion, like, as a man, but like I said, when you say women's choice, my body, my choice, that's bordering on the lines of selfishness, feminism, and even my own mum says that it's become way too easy to have abortions. They shouldn't make it so easy. And the other reason I'm pro-life is because of a personal thing. For me, I was born in '96, but I was conceived in '95, and I was conceived when my parents weren't even married. So I'm not saying they would have done anything. They wouldn't have. 100% they would have kept me. But I'm just saying, I was almost conceived under similar circumstances in '95, the year before I was born. So I have like a sort of a personal connection to it, because and like my brother, I think he was just he was planned a bit better. For me, it wasn't the case. My parents, like I said, they weren't married. They got married a few years later after I was born. So obviously, they whatever. But I'm just saying, for me, I had that personal connection to it, which is another reason why I'm pro-life. Because and like I said, my mum is correct. It shouldn't be so easy to get abortions nowadays. And I feel like a lot of women, they just take the quick option. Perhaps if they're 16 or 17 or something, and they just immature. They go, I can't be bothered with this. Yes. And I feel like it has become too easy. I'm pro-life. I feel like the baby, the baby's got nothing to do with how the woman's conceived the child. The baby's got nothing to do with it. The baby just wants to live. The baby's just growing in the woman's stomach, and it should have the right to live. What on earth has the baby got to do with how it was conceived? I didn't have anything to do with how I was conceived. No one in this planet has any involvement into how they were conceived. It's just the thing. It's nothing to do with the baby. My body, my choice can come in other scenarios. But it shouldn't be coming in the sense of, it's not just your body. It's the thing. It's the child's body. And like I said, I don't think I sound too controversial, because it is about 50-50 pro-life, pro-choice. 50-50. A lot of people do agree with me. A lot of women, many women are pro-life. You could even say more, I suppose. But for me, like I said, I'm relating this to veganism. I'm relating the unborn baby to like animals and stuff, and how vulnerable and helpless they are, and how they've done nothing wrong. That's what I'm doing. I'm relating the animals that are getting killed for food with the baby, about to get killed because the mother doesn't want them. It's the same thing, really. Murder's murder at the end of the day. And that's how I feel about it. And I've never really spoken about this, but as a vegan, some vegans are pro-choice. Some vegans, maybe women, they're pro-choice. But for me, I'm pro-life. I think the baby has had nothing to, like I said, I'm not saying it was the woman's fault. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it's not the baby's fault. And I think the baby is more important. The woman, you know, she's a grown woman, or she, you know, even if she's 15, 16, perhaps, you know, under very, very special circumstances, if it's like, you know, having an abortion or the mother's going to die, or if the child's very young, if the child's like 14 or something, then perhaps, yeah. But generally speaking, I'm pro-life. I'm pro-life, generally speaking. I honestly feel like it's become too easy to have an abortion for women, and I feel like it needs to change. Like I said, they did a law recently in America and everything, and even about the kind of banning abortions in places, which I think is really good. But even Halsey, I went to Reading Festival, and even Halsey did this thing. She did a song called, I don't know what the song she did. What was it called? I can't remember what it was called, but she did a song, and in the background she had loads of videos playing about abortion and stuff, which I thought, like I said, fair enough, each to their own. I can see why women are doing it, but then it's slightly, I don't know, like I said, you know, what about the baby? I think they're thinking about this the wrong way, the My Body, My Choice movement and stuff. You know, when you're talking about another life, I think that isn't really relevant. I think it's very selfish, and I think it has become too easy, and I think there's no perspective in that. I think, you know, what about the baby? Once again, I say, I respect the unfortunate ways that the mother may have conceived the child, or, you know, she's too young, or whatever, or she's just had it. But I just think it has become too easy, and I think that the baby should have the right to live. It's not the baby's fault how it was conceived. You know, no one on this planet chooses how they were conceived. No one has any involvement. So then to be murdered, or to be killed off, just because your mother happens to be too young, the baby has nothing to do with that. You know. Once again, like I said, if it's like a few days later, of course that's fine. If it's like the morning after pill or a few days later, whatever. But even up to 24 weeks, that becomes borderline. Because I personally feel a baby could feel pain after 10 weeks. They say something after 10 weeks. So I feel like after a few weeks, it has to be abolished. You know, banned. So I think generally, unless you take the morning after pill, it shouldn't be allowed anyway. But that's just my opinion. Like I said, it's quite a sensitive topic. But I feel as a vegan, I'm obliged to talk about it. I feel like as a vegan, I'm obliged to mention how I feel about it. But like I said, don't you know, point the finger at me and say, Elliot, what are you talking about? Many people are pro-life. That's the thing. You know, I'm a man, many women are pro-life. You could arguably say more women are pro-life than pro-choice. But I just feel like the baby has the right to live. And I feel it's murder. I'm as a vegan, I'm linking what happens to animals in abattoirs with the baby. I'm saying it's both of it is murder. Like I said, if obviously people might say, "Oh, what? It's just a cluster of cells after." If you just then whatever. Like I said, if it's just a few days, and I suppose it's different. But generally speaking, after a few weeks, I'll say around 10 weeks. I just think generally speaking, having it anyway, I think it's not good. I think I'll ban it anyway. If you don't want a baby, then take the morning after. But if not, I feel it's too late. But like I said, as a man, you know, as my opinion, you know, even if the unfortunate happens, I just feel like, you know, women shouldn't rush into it. And I feel like it's become too easy, and I just feel like the baby has the right to live, even more so than the woman has the right to choose, because it's not just her body, her choice, it's her baby's choice as well. This is the thing where the feminism movement and all women's rights movement and the Me Too movement go wrong. It's not just about her, my body, my choice. That's incredibly selfish, and it puts women in a bad light. It puts women in a bad light. It does. What about the baby? It's just almost embarrassing. It really is. It really is. Like I said, if the woman's happened in the most unfortunate circumstance, she really doesn't want the baby, stick through it and give it to a family. Let another family adopt it. Many couples can't have children, maybe because the woman's too old, or perhaps just the woman can't have kids, or perhaps the guy can't have, perhaps there's something wrong with the fertility in that respect with the couple, or they just can't have children. They're struggling. Many couples like that. Many young couples would want a child. So if you don't want a child, give it away. But abortion isn't the answer. The answer is to stick through it, stick through the last few months of pregnancy, grow up, have the child and give it to someone else if you don't want it. Don't be selfish and don't murder your own baby when other couples could have it, because that's murder. And the baby has no involvement to how it was conceived. Like I said, I'm saying from personal experience. I was conceived under circumstances that you could be akin to, maybe a sort of a one-night stand or something. Sort of in 1995 in Ibiza, I was sort of conceived in these circumstances, and my parents got married a few years later. So I've had a personal connection to this. I feel like the baby has the right to live. The baby has had no involvement into how it was conceived, even in the most unfortunate circumstances. The baby's got nothing to do with it. He doesn't know how it was conceived or how his mother was conceived. It doesn't know either way. The baby has the right to live. I think murder is murder. So I think women shouldn't rush into it, and I'm glad what they did in America, and I just hope it doesn't become so easy. And like I said, plan ahead. If it's happened under those unfortunate circumstances, stick through it and give the baby to another family who want to adopt it. Do not have an abortion. That's immoral. It's murder. Don't do it. Women are so selfish. The Me Too movement, the feminism movement. I'm sorry, you need to grow up. Because it's immature and it's selfish and there's another life at stake. It's not even funny. That's my view on it as a vegan. This is my view on it as a vegan. I'm pro-life.